Hello, corporate badasses. I am so excited to be here with you this December 2024 as part of my fourth annual December Doing It series. This is a series that I created a few years ago to celebrate the amazing women and the work that we're doing inside of the Leadership Table Project and how we're really elevating the game when it comes to women and taking and owning that seat at the table. And I am so proud and honored by all of the women who come through my doors and the work that they're doing. And so I wanted to use this as an opportunity to showcase that work and so that you can also learn from them. And so in this conversation today, I encourage you to write in the comments if you have questions. We are live with these amazing leaders. And also to spread the word, because we'll be continuing to do this on Tuesdays throughout the month of December. But welcome everyone. Good to see you today. Let's take a minute just to introduce yourselves and then I'll get into some questions. Lalita, you go first.
Okay, hi everyone. I am Lalita Lai del Rosario and I'm really excited to be here today. So thank you for inviting me, Stacy. Just a little bit about myself. So I started my career off in the public sector, worked through a range of industries in finance and then travel. And I've been working in the retail industry. Which is highly competitive, but it's such an exciting place to be. And I am leading the company and helping the company scale and grow.
Yes, you are. I love that. And Andrea.
Yes, thank you for having me, Stacy. And yeah, I'm Andrea Bumstead. I'm a vice president of customer success. I have almost 20 years of experience now in all go-to-market roles. So that's marketing, sales, customer success. What I love are big, meaty challenges and turning ambitious corporate goals and vision into strategy.
Yes, that sounds great. And as you all were introducing yourselves, I realized I didn't introduce myself. And my name is Stacy Mayer. I coach corporate badasses to get promoted into higher level leadership positions. I'm the author of Promotions Made Easy, a step-by-step guide to the executive suite, and also the founder of the Leadership Table Project, which is where these two beautiful women are from and a part of that amazing corporate mastermind coaching program. All right, so let's start out with my first question. We'll start with you, Andrea. What are some of your secrets to success?
Ooh, I love this question. Secrets to success. I will have to say I've really learned to own my journey as a leader and to be the orchestrator of that journey. And what I really mean by that is, well, one, just realizing that I'm in control of it. I think a lot of our careers, we think that others are in control, but really we are in control. And then with that, I've really focused on my own brand. So, what does the universe say about me? I'd like to control that message. And then really focused on mentors, allies, people who can help me in my career, but then also giving back. How can I be a mentor and ally to others as they continue on their own career progression?
Yeah, it's really funny because the corporate structure is set up so that other people are in charge of us, so that we feel like we're being told what to do every single day. But we forget that our career is ours, right? Like nobody owns that. Nobody is in control of that. Same way with brand. I love what you said because it's like they're going to say people say stuff about us, think stuff about us all the time. And so if we can control that narrative and what's being said, which is like, right, it's so simple and it's such a great and easy thing at our fingertips. I love that. That's great. Fantastic. What about you, Lolita?
Yeah, I always thought there was like some magic formula or something, but I think what I've learned is that the secrets to success are pretty simple. And it's a combination of what you're passionate about, what your unique strengths are. So for me, as someone who's highly analytical, I absorb things like a sponge. And so what that looks like for me is, I gather a lot of information, I assess what the situation is, and I'm looking for patterns, things that are similar or different to each other. And kind of the tip of that for me was, I think in these complete terms. So I think about the end goal and like where we're going, where we need to get to, what the outcomes are, where we start from, and then putting like all these dots in between, and whether those are like people dots or process dots or tool systematic dots, like all of it's connected. So for me, like I've gained this like unique strength, and that's like has been particularly helpful in helping me succeed, and become that go-to person, especially for forward thinkers, leaders that I'm working with are thinking visionary out there, and I can just help them understand that holistic view, and connect those finer details.
I love what you're saying, Lalita, and I'm going to out you a little bit in that you're as a leader, you're not specifically a people leader. And when you hear the way that she answered that question, it doesn't matter if you're leading people, if you're not leading people, everyone has these leadership capabilities. And to be able to articulate our process is part of being able to show our leadership and also continue to execute on it, right? So knowing that you have this analytical approach, knowing that you think and you're able to connect these dots already sets you significantly above the crowd as a leader. And so I really value that in you. And also want to encourage people who are listening to this recording to start to think about your own secrets to success and articulate that. I'm hoping that some of you can even share that in the chat. And also, I noticed that Marie's on here. If you don't mind putting their LinkedIn profiles in the chat as well, so that we have the names of our wonderful women on today's panel. And it's not letting me type, so I'll have to type through you. Yeah, that's so powerful. And it's part of that ownership of our career path is literally just being able to articulate and share what it is that we do as a leader and how we have gotten to the places that we are. So thank you. Going back to you, Lalita, when you think about your own leadership and how you solve problems, what are some of the considerations that you put into place as a leader? How do you think about your own leadership?
Yeah, I thought a lot about this, and I think my greatest goal as a leader is to do things that make people feel like heard and supported and truly valued for who they are. And I do this through the people first approach. And I know, Stacy, you and I have talked about this term, like human side of change. So that sticks with me. And what I often see is like teams, they're working hard to deliver projects and doing something to get to that deadline, but the end results are kind of mediocre. And you only realize that at the end. So some of those things that I was talking about, the analytical side of me, is really important, but I need to complement that with the human side as well. So for me, my goal as a leader is this people first approach, regardless of who I'm working with, whether that's like my own team, senior leaders, or across teams and across business functions, because people truly are our greatest assets.
Yeah, totally. Like we get really caught up in the process and creating projects and everything becomes very technical and we forget why we're doing it and who are the people that we're bringing along the way. And then that's also the solution to bringing those people along. I bet Andrea has something to share about that. What do you feel like your goals as a leader are?
Yeah, it's interesting. My approach is quite similar. As a leader, I'm very collaborative. And so I'm always looking to work very closely with my functional partners across the organization, working sort of up and downward. So with my own team, but across other teams. I find that collaborative approach is extremely important. I think to your point, you need to bring people with you in any sort of organizational change. It's really important. And people are equally as important as execution. In fact, you can have kind of a mediocre strategy, but if you have people along with you who are contributing, actively working with you to solve the problem, that will trump mediocre strategy any day. Whereas if you have an amazing strategy, but people are not coming along with you, in fact, they're resisting you, it doesn't matter. It's not going to get done.
Yeah, totally. That's such an important point. And I find that for myself as a leader too, sometimes the willingness to have the mediocre strategy and then collaborate to pull it forward is like actually the answer, right? Because I think often we think that, oh, I have to know that this is the right strategy, or I have to know that this is going to work, and and then I'll share it with people, or I'll share it with my boss. It's like, well, also part of the process to understanding if it's going to work is sharing it, right? And actually seeing if people are on board. So, yeah, I really appreciate that. That's great.
Yeah, I was gonna
Okay.
say,
Yeah, go ahead,
sorry,
please.
I just wanted to add to that. I actually have a little rule or mantra as a leader, which is if I'm 70% sure, that's good enough. I commit 110% to the execution, but I only need to be 70% sure. And that just reminds me that as a leader, I don't need to have all the answers all the time.
And I was like, I think if you said you were 110% sure of the strategy, the thing that hasn't happened yet, like everybody be like, you're wrong, right? Like it's not
Yes.
a thing, this thing that we're striving for. That's so good. Do you have anything else to add, Lolita, or no?
No, I
Yeah.
think just yeah, just saying the, organizational change is so prevalent right now. And so thinking about all the different people in that space, whether it's about our leaders, the individuals that are impacted, like meeting those individuals in those spaces, and bringing them forward. So Andrea, I love that you are also having, have the same goals.
Yes, exactly. That's so good. All right. Now, my final question for today, and I wish we could spend hours together, so I'll have to have you both on my podcast again soon. I love asking people this question. So, why are you personally motivated to have a voice at the table? Whoever would like to go first.
Maybe I'll start. I have thought about this one quite a bit. It's interesting how I didn't have an answer at first. I was like, well, I don't know. But I think my answer has really evolved over time. And as I've sort of developed as an individual and as a leader, I've come to really appreciate that there's two reasons why I'm motivated. One, I would say, is that I have two daughters, and it's really important for me to, or for me to be a great role model for them. I just think of the influence that parental figures have on people's career. And so the fact that my daughters can see that I have a seat at the leadership table is really important to me. I hope that that helps them strive for more and better in their careers. And then the other reason is really simple, which is why not? Why wouldn't I have a seat at the leadership table? Like, why would I even ask the question? Is there any reason why I shouldn't have a voice at the leadership table? So for me, it's those two things.
I love that. It's also part of the reason probably why originally the question you were like, is this even a question? You're like, why not me? Like, who cares? Whatever. But I think it's also, again, going back to the theme of today's conversation, being able to articulate that and say that out loud. Because even you're saying the words, why not me? Gave me goosebumps, and it reminded me, why not me too? And, why not all of us? And so, being able to say that is part of the giving back, and the sharing, and the gifts that you're giving your daughters and so on. So I appreciate that. That's great. All right, Lolita.
Yeah, Stacy, I always love it when you ask this question. I'm glad to hear Andrea. I wasn't the only one that thought, I don't know, actually. That's a good question. But yeah, whenever you ask this question, Stacy, and I thought about it quite a bit, it gets a little personal for me. So I know we talked about this where I was raised in what I call like this quiet culture. So what that looked like for me growing up was I learned to substitute like other needs for my own, which was really helpful as a child, especially since I wanted to like fit in and I wanted to be a good daughter to my parents. But then I quickly learned that as I grew older and I started work, and especially since I started on my leadership journey, that's not really helpful. So since then, I've come into my own by learning to like reframe how I think about those cultural traits and developing into something that means something to me and feels good for me. And I've got to a place where I now understand like that personal value, and that I can do both. You know, I can take care of others as well as my own needs. So for me, as I grow as a leader, like the reason I feel motivated to be at the table is I really want to give back to others who might benefit from learning what I learned but much earlier on, in their careers. And I really want to be that advocate for each person's unique strength, like things that I can see, and those people that have seen it in me, and especially those that don't may not even know what their unique value is yet, so that I can elevate them, and then they feel and feel have them support them through their journey.
Yeah. Yeah. And I was thinking about the children as sponges and taking in everything that we're doing. And my daughter has this thing where she makes fun of my podcast all like literally all the time. And I'll like be like, it's 256 episodes. Do you know how hard that is? Like, do you know what a big deal that? And she's like, eh. And so there's also something very humbling about us doing our thing, showing up who we are, and then again articulating that, being able to say that out loud, and people are listening, right? When you talk, Lalita, about mentorship and giving back, it's people are hearing, people are listening, people are absorbing, even if they're not like, you're amazing, right? Like even if
Yeah.
they're not always giving us those pats on the back. So it's really, if we go on our journey and we continue to strive for more, giving back to our team, remembering the human side of everything that we do. This is just such a fantastic interview and such a great example of leadership. I'm so grateful for both of you and how you continue to raise your hand and continue to ask for more and continue to strive to be better and more high performing leaders. Thank you all so much for being here. Lalita del Rosario and Andrea Bumstead, you guys are amazing. Anything else you want to say before we head out today?
No, I was just going to say my daughter calls me the boss. She's like, you're the boss.
Yep, I am.
And I love that, because then she knows that it's possible to be the boss, and it's okay to be the boss.
Yeah.
I love that, Andrea. I'm gonna have to get my son to start calling me the boss as well then.
Listen, Lalita, I know that you practice your presentations for your son. I know.
I did, and he was
He's
a great sport. But yeah, thank you, Stacy. This is a great opportunity. Thank you for having us.
Thank you all so much.
Yeah.
Take care. Bye.
Bye.